Hello fellow gamers, today we're pushing to get those 3 stars on Brutal Campaign difficulty, and that is not as easy as it looks. To get those 3 stars, we need to clear each stage without a champion dying, and sometimes for that reason we need to change some gear, adjust our strategy, and even team composition. And also there is a tricky part, and that tricky part is chapter 11, because it's all force affinity, and that is a problem for my magic affinity starter, right? That's why today I'm gonna be talking about how to get over those affinity disadvantages, adjust the right gear, and team setup. So let's jump in. Alright guys, let's talk strategy here. To get all of those 3 stars on campaign brutal difficulty, there are a few requirements we need to fulfill. The number 1 key rule is that nobody of your team can die. Everybody should survive. This is the most important thing. The second requirement we have to get all of those 3 stars is the time limit. We should go through all of the stages as fast as possible because there are some time limits. And the third most important factor here would be to use only 2 of your champions, not a whole team of 4. You need only 2, otherwise you will not get 3 stars. Alright, beautiful people, speaking of strong champions, if you're struggling in the early game and need some huge boost, make sure you start fresh using my exclusive link in the description. You will get Karato Fox Hunter, legendary champion, right after your tutorial, plus 4 solid epics as you level up. Having those champions on your team can make brutal difficulty way easier, especially when you hit those tricky stages. Alright, now we have a few tricky parts here, and the first one is chapter 5, Felwin's Gate. Everything might seem easy here, right? As you can see, I've managed to get all the 3 stars here, but what I have to tell you guys is that it can be tricky because the biggest problem here is the enemy hit, the enemy damage. Those high elves hit hard and they can easily shred your team if you're not careful enough. On top of that, they are spirit affinity, which means if you're using force affinity and champions like War Maiden or Atur, you might struggle to land their hits. That's why to get all of the 3 stars here, you really need to make sure your team stays alive and focus on sustain, maybe adding a healer to your team. One example of healer I can give you is War Priest, and make sure your main damage dealer has some life steal on them for sustainability. This is really important. The other tricky chapter we have here is definitely chapter 11, Hallowed Halls. The biggest problem here is that all of the stages are force affinity, and most times your starter would be magic affinity. In my case, that is Kyle. As you can see, he's magic affinity. As you can see here, force beats magic. But let me tell you the hack here. Let me tell you the solution we have come up to get over that chapter, those stages here. You really need to bring neutral or strong affinity champions using crowd control. This is crucial, and you want to be focusing on sustain. A great example of a champion who has crowd control abilities is Karato Fox Hunter. Why is that? Because on his A2 he places a stun debuff for 2 turns, and this actually will slow the enemies down. As it is for Alice, if you have her on the team, she's great also because she helps us with buffs and control. And when it comes to team composition, I really want to get a balanced mix between Kyle, my main damage dealer, and also I am planning to use either Karato or Alice teamed up with Kyle because they are providing support and control, and really making sure I don't rely too much on one champion. Also, if enemies hit too hard, I might have to play this manually instead of going on auto. That way I will make sure that my skills are timed right. And let's see what we have here. We have completed Falwyn's Gate, as you can see. Now we need to get all the 3 stars on Palace of Avaria, chapter 7. Let's go and see what we can do there. For that purpose, I'm gonna be using Kyle and Karato. They should be okay. They should be able to clear the stages without any problems. I am almost sure of that. I think Kyle alone would have been able to do that. That's why in the next stage I'm gonna test it out and see if Kale is able to do that alone. Let's click on next, and this time we're gonna be testing out Kyle's abilities. He's finally level 60, and let me tell you, he's so much stronger now. If you're a beginner and you're struggling to go through all of the stages on Brutal, keep your focus on leveling up your first champion up to level 60. That way it would be so much easier for you to clear the waves on campaign Brutal with that single strong champion. Like you can see, Kyle is able to go through all of the stages by himself, which is such a nice surprise for me actually. Okay, we almost got all of the stars on Palace of Avaria. We're almost there, guys, and Kyle is doing great. I managed to upgrade all of his skills. This is crucial, guys. Make sure as soon as you get your Kyle or any other starter champion up to level 60, make sure you come here and upgrade their skills. This will make them so much powerful, and they would be able to get through Brutal difficulty all alone on most of the stages, of course. What I forgot to tell you is about the gear. This is a really important tip, and it is to focus on lifesteal gear. Make sure you equip your starter with some lifesteal for sustainability, and that way he would be able to survive longer. Go on Brutal difficulty to get the best artifacts possible. If you don't have any lifesteal, this is the place where you can farm some good artifacts. Other artifact sets that are good for your main damage dealer are definitely Divine Offense set. It's good because it gives your main champion HP self shield for 3 turns, which would really help to stay alive throughout the Brutal stages. It would make it so much easier for you. Another good set that you can use is the Divine Critical Rate set. It also gives some shield, and it gives you plus 12% critical damage. That way it would be easier for you to kill the enemies, and also you would be protected. So it will make things so much faster and easier for you. So make sure to adjust your gear correctly, use the proper sets, and of course, level up your champions along the way, and make sure you upgrade their skills as well. Let's go to stage 6 here. I'm gonna use Kyle again. Okay, it's going pretty well on auto, so as it is for now, I will leave it like that, not go on manual. But maybe for the other chapters, for example chapter 12, I would need to go manual so I can have some more control. Should I try with Kyle alone here? I'm afraid he won't be able to beat that boss here. Okay, I'm gonna risk it all. Maybe lose some energy if he doesn't manage to do that, but it is what it is. We have to take risks. I'm pretty curious if he would be able to go through that alone. And he did, actually. Whoa. Okay, that was cool. That was satisfying to watch. Okay, now what we have to do, we completed chapter 6. Let's go to chapter 7 and see what we have left here. Oh, most of the stages are done here. We only have to go through stage 6 and stage 7. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try out Kyle alone again because I believe in him so much. All right. Well done. And finally, we have the last stage of chapter 7. Please don't fail, don't fail. He won't fail. He won't fail. All right. Great success. Great success. By the way, guys, I managed to unlock Nightmare maybe last week. And that was after less than 20 days of playing Raid. So it's not that hard. Even beginners like me are able to do it somehow, so you don't have to be scared. Everybody should go with their own pace. It doesn't matter if you have reached Nightmare after 20 days or after 40 days. Just go with the flow. Enjoy the game as much as possible. That is really my advice for you guys. We should have some fun along the way, right? But yeah, I haven't tried Nightmare yet because I wanted to get all of the stars here first. So we finished Tilshire, another chapter down. Let's go on to the next. I'm so ready for this, but we have a lot of work to do here. I'm gonna go with Kyle here. Let's quickly go through all of the other stages. I'm pretty excited. I want to get all of those 3 stars in one session. Kyle is handling everything so well. So well. Defeat! Defeat! No. Okay, we have to adjust our strategy here on chapter 8 because it's getting tougher, and maybe we need to add somebody to our team, somebody who would help our Kyle. In that case, I think I'm gonna go with Alice or Karato, but with this chapter, I'm gonna go with Alice. I was actually pretty devastated when Kyle died. I didn't expect it. Come on. Okay, but Alice is here to help, you know? She won't leave you die, Kyle. You have to be sure of that. Another tip I can give you guys, if you're struggling beating brutal stages, consider focusing on crowd control. This is really important. If you have Karato, he will be so much helpful to you. Also, make sure to have champions with high speed to outrun the waves. If you're struggling to survive the bosses, you definitely need a healer on your team. That would change your game, I'm telling you. Right now, we have finished stage 8 and we will focus on stage 9. Here we have only 4 stages to complete, and for that stage, I will keep on using Alice and Kyle. Do you see that shield that Alice have? This is because of her set, which gives her a shield. It's pretty useful in campaign waves, and not only in campaign waves, but also in boss battles. Next, let's see what do we have here. We are on stage 10. We're almost done here as well. Almost finished chapter 10, and it's going pretty well. We have 2 more stages and we will get to that tricky chapter I was telling you about. Whoa, look at that dragon. But we're stronger. My team is better than the dragon. We will be able to get through this. Good job. And finally, we reached the tricky chapter 11, the Hallowed Halls. Like I told you guys, it's pretty tricky because it's force affinity and force beats magic. In our case, our Kyle is magic affinity, which means it would be harder for us to get through that stage. That's why we need a champion together with Kyle with crowd control abilities. In my case, this is Karato. He's giving some stun to the enemies and he's slowing their turn meter, and he will be great for that chapter with Kyle. You really have to make sure no one dies here, which is the tricky part. There are enemy champions here in this chapter that really have some strong debuffs, which can really slow me down and even wipe my team if I'm not careful enough. When you're going through the stages, make sure you always check the affinities. If you have a chapter, for example, with force affinity, make sure your team has some champions with spirit affinity, because that way it would be easier for you to go through that stage. The same goes, for example, when you have magic affinity, make sure you bring some champions with force affinity. that would really make it so much easier for you. All right, guys, so we're almost beat it. Chapter 11, we're almost there. Soon we will have all the 3 stars on all of the chapters. I'm super excited because we would get our rewards. No, he shouldn't die. Okay. And finally, we have the last stage of chapter 11. Please tell me you're gonna make it, guys. I need you to survive, both of you. Don't let me down. Just don't let me down, please. Here is the tough part. No, Kyle, please. No. Kyle is dead. We have to adjust our strategy here. Let's see what we can do. I would try to swap Karato with Alice. She would survive longer than Karato because of her shield. Let's try that out and see what happens. I'm gonna use manual here, not auto. I need to have more control. This is important here. Okay, Kyle, please. Kyle. He would die again. No, oh my god. The tension is real here. The tension is real. Okay, final battle. Would we make it? Please, Kyle. Please survive this. No. No, please. Stay alive, bro. Please. I'm begging you. Oh, no. Oh! He didn't make it again. He died. Alright, guys, I'm gonna end this battle here. It's not gonna work out because, like I told you, this is a tricky chapter. In stage 7 here is deadly, you know? I would leave it for now, and I'm gonna go through chapter 12, Brimstone Path, and I'm gonna go through most of the stages there. For chapter 11, stage 7, we need to give Kyle some speed and maybe upgrade his artifacts. Right now I cannot do that because I don't have enough silver, but I would definitely keep on improving him as soon as I got some silver. For now, we will leave that stage as it is and focus on getting all the 3 stars on Brimstone Path. As you can see, guys, I have also managed to upgrade Alice up to level 60, and we upgraded some of her skills so she can clear the waves as well. I'm pretty sure that Alice would be able to handle some of the stages alone as well. Okay, we died here. Okay, guys. Clearing all the waves on Brutal and getting all the 3 stars, it's not an easy thing to do, but I believe with the right strategy, gear, and affinity matchup, it's doable. Today we couldn't get all of the 3 stars on every single chapter. We need some rework of our gear and to upgrade some of the artifacts we have. I still need to get the 3 stars on Hallowed Halls last stage and Brimstone Path, the last 3 stages. So let me know if you want a part 2, and also if you're struggling with a specific stage, drop it in the comment section below and I will try to help you guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me and watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and see you next time, guys.